Roan Cassidy had crossed Dead Bride Pass 100 times, but never with the kind of dread that rode silently beside him now. The wind cut at his face like broken glass, and the snowstorm grew from a whisper to a roar, swallowing the trail. The pines, the world itself. His horse snorted nervously, hooves sinking deep, refusing to move forward until Roan forced it on with a hard tug of the reins. By late afternoon, the blizzard had grown so thick he could barely see his own hands. That was when he spotted the wagon, white upon white. Half swallowed by drifts, its right wheel snapped clean. The canvas top torn open like something had clawed its way out. He recognized the embroidery on the fallen trunk, the little blue flowers Eleanor had stitched. He froze. The storm moaned in reply. The wind carried the faint sound of a child's humming. Roan dismounted, boots crunching through frozen crust, and followed the sound to the overturned wagon. The flap of canvas lifted with the gust, revealing pale fingers curled as if reaching for him from under the snow. He brushed the drifts aside, heart pounding, until he uncovered the still perfect face of Eleanor. Her skin was white as the drifts themselves, her open lips dusted with frost, her wedding gown stiff with ice and streaked faintly with old blood. Her veil impossibly was untouched by the blizzard, lying upon her like a bridal shroud. Roan staggered back. She had died months ago, or so he told himself, though he had never said the words aloud. She had died because he left her to fend for herself, left her carrying his child, left her in this same pass where winter always came early and mercy was late. A small, mittenless hand tugged at his coat. Annie stood there, the orphan girl from the mining camp, dressed in rags far too thin for the storm. Snowflakes clung to her braids, and she clutched a handmade rag doll against her chest. Her breath didn't fog the air. "She says you left her," the girl murmured, pointing toward Eleanor. "You left Mama last winter. Took the gold. Rode away while she cried." Roan's throat tightened. He reached for the colt on his hip, but his fingers felt clumsy, half frozen. "Where'd you hear that?" Annie blinked slowly. "Mama told me. She's been talking to me ever since the snow found her." The wind shifted, swirling around Eleanor's body. The powder rose in a spiraling dance, forming the unmistakable loop of a hangman's noose over her chest. Roan's breath stuttered in terror. He stepped back again, but the snow behind him rose like a wall, blocking escape. Eleanor's eyes snapped open, ice blue, glowing faintly like winter stars. Roan stumbled, falling to one knee. "No, Ellie, I came back. I came to make it right." The girl shook her head. "Mama don't need your promises. She needs your warmth. She's so cold." The noose of swirling snow tightened in the air, drifting toward him. He tried to stand, but his legs refused to obey, muscles stiffening with unnatural frost. Eleanor's lips parted, and though no breath came from her frozen throat, Roan heard her voice clear as a church bell in his mind. "You left me to freeze. Now you'll stay with me." Annie's doll slipped from her fingers and fell into the snow. Roan stared, horrified. The stitched, smiling face of the rag doll had changed. It wore his features. The storm howled like a grieving woman. Roan screamed, but the sound froze half-formed in the air, shattering like ice. His body stiffened, frost racing up his legs, locking him in place. The last thing he saw was the child calmly reaching for his hair. By dawn, the storm had cleared. The wagon lay still and empty, Eleanor's body gone, Roan's tracks erased. Only a single trail remained, tiny barefoot prints heading down the mountain, dragging beside them the frozen corpse of a grown man, his head lolling as she pulled him relentlessly toward the valley. The rag doll, face unchanged, bounced against her small back with each step.